Well, Calvin, thanks for joining me here today. Super excited to chat.
Same here. Thanks for having me.
First of all, congratulations on Brand Innovators 40 Under 40. I know it was about a year ago, but I think it's still fitting to mention given where we are today.
100%.
And I'm really excited for this conversation. I'm a huge fan of the brand. The first time I tried the products was about 2 years ago when my friend gifted me a set for my birthday. My favorite is the body serum and the eucalyptus body wash. So very
Two of our
luxury.
Heroes, so yeah, that's great.
And before we get into it, I would love to know, what is your favorite Nécessaire product?
The body serum is up there. I would say generally, I don't use a lot of lotion, so serum is perfect, especially for the summer months. Very hydrating, not sticky, not super thick. So love the body serum. And then our new deodorant, our deodorant Centol, the best clean deodorant. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think objectively, it's the best clean deodorant that I've ever tried. And yeah, it's been a game changer for me since we launched that in January this year.
I'll have to check that out. I'm excited to get into it. So I read in PR Newswire that as of January, Nécessaire had won an unprecedented 120 beauty awards as a testament to its commitment to product integrity, and it's also recognized as a steward of responsible luxury. So these are really some incredible recognitions. And love to know, what is a recent win or success story that you're really proud of that made a significant impact at Nécessaire?
Yeah, I would say, the brand was founded in 2018, and it really was founded on two principles: care for your body, which obviously we were just talking about a little bit, and still an important pillar, but care for the planet. So that really two equal pillars of the brand, and that's really carried through and informed a lot of our decisions on the products, our packaging, our ingredients. So I think one of the biggest wins, not necessarily the award, but we did become B Corp certified a couple years ago, and I think it's just a testament to how integral that ethos about responsibility is throughout our packaging, sourcing, and production, and it really has made a big impact. And I think it's just, we already had that as a forward thought in informing our decisions, but obviously the standards to become B Corp certification or certified and do that every year. It's required a lot of strength and commitment just across all teams. So I think that's really been a big win overall and success story for us in how important that sustainability and responsibility aspect is for Nécessaire.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I also noticed there's a new signature scent out, Cypress Citron. I hope I said that correctly.
That's great. Yes, it's we love our accents.
I love that.
At Nécessaire, so
can't wait to try it.
It's excellent.
And curious, as you expand into new product lines, how do you plan to scale your marketing efforts while maintaining consistent brand voice and messaging?
100%. Yeah, I think it's really been an interesting evolution of the brand, even since I've been there over the last 2.5, 3 years. We really started with, originally for body care and really helped pioneer, high quality premium skincare for the body. But obviously, as we've continued to expand, there is a need to expand product categories. So, a couple years ago, we launched our fragrance-free shampoo conditioner, our first scalp treatment. Last year, a little over a year ago, we launched a rosemary shampoo conditioner. So really getting into treatment focus around hair care. We launched a rosemary serum. So I think the whole ethos, carrying the same high quality mentality across these products, but then also making sure that we are having options of product categories, across the portfolio to offer entry points. So I mentioned our deodorant, that is an entry point for somebody that deodorant's a little bit lower on the price point, so that maybe it's an entry into the brand, but we want to make sure that we have the product offerings to retain them so that they maybe come in on deodorant, but then they stay for a rosemary shampoo and conditioner. So I think it's really about routine, going back to your earlier point, that really is what we want to make sure that we have product offerings that allow for those beauty and skincare regimes to keep them within the brand.
Super smart. Get them in and then give them everything they need for their whole entire routine and regimen. I love that. Right. And knowing you're the SVP of Digital and Media, which covers a lot.
Correct.
What channels have been most effective to move the needle or your brand growth across everything you cover and oversee?
Totally. For the longest, for many years, we were very heavily focused on influencer, and influencer creators, still very much are an important marketing lever for us as a brand. But I think we've definitely looked to diversify our mix as we've continued to grow. And we were a digitally native brand and focused on DTC direct response. We're now, in Sephora, Nordstrom. We're available on Amazon, so we've had to diversify our marketing mix. So we're running across Meta, TikTok, CTV, affiliate is still a very big, heavy piece for us. We've tested into direct mail. We ran our first out-of-home campaign in New York a year ago. So starting to diversify that mix. And I think it's just trying to be in the right time, right place, and also just make sure that we have coverage across the ecosystem, given that we are widely available as an omni-channel brand now.
That totally makes sense. And kind of playing off of that a little, how do you balance across all the channels, the brand storytelling aspect, but also the performance marketing in your specifically digital spend or just in general as well?
Totally. And we generally like to have a dedicated amount for brand awareness or upper funnel marketing, so that we're making sure that we're always supporting just the overall reach. And we are still a very high growth brand, so we need to be tapping into a net new audience. So we have a certain dollar amount allocated towards brand awareness, and then another portion allocated toward direct response, and maintain those mixes generally across the calendar, except for obviously peak promotional periods. So Q4 obviously being one of those where we want to very, very heavily focus on conversion, gifting, messaging, and ultimately purchase at the end of the day. So generally trying to keep that split. And then from a creative standpoint, all of our creative is done in-house. We're a very high-touch premium brand, and so we have a fantastic creative team that is really ensuring that we have the consistent messaging, brand ethos, and visual storytelling elements that are consistent across all of our creative assets that we're putting into the world.
That totally makes sense. Actually leads me to my next question, which what are some of those metrics you typically use to judge a performance of a creative or across even an influencer asset or UGC or affiliate or whatever the case may be?
100%. So it definitely depends on where in the funnel obviously you're running it. So obviously our awareness creative or campaigns very much measured differently. So we're primarily looking at engagement and reach metrics. So, especially on social, like how often are those creatives or the UGC creator ads, are they driving likes, clicks, comments, shares, et cetera, and really just getting that quality of engagement that we're looking for in that stage of the funnel. And then obviously on the conversion focus, looking at more purchase-based, new customer CAC, ROAS, et cetera, metrics. So it just depends on where in the funnel and what the objective is, I guess, for the respective campaigns.
That makes sense. And knowing that Nécessaire leans heavily into sustainability and clean beauty, as you've mentioned, which is obviously central to its brand identity, how do you typically incorporate this messaging into the digital media strategies and also with creators and the briefing, but not being too prescriptive? Like, how does that all come to life? Yeah,
the briefing is a good question, because it's a delicate balance, because obviously there are cohesive and consistent messaging touch points that we want to make sure are carried through all creative, but we want to allow the creative freedom and for it to be authentic from the creator's voice. So generally, when we're briefing creators, we are very clear on these are the must hit talking points. Usually it's 1 or 2 bullet points, and then generally we're letting them film it in their own native, kind of messaging and how they speak with their audience. So generally try and find that right balance, but it's tricky, and we've continued to test what is that right mix of having more prescriptive briefing versus autonomy on the creator side. I think it also depends on the creator's side. So obviously there's macro creators that probably we can ensure that they know what they're doing. They're the experts, so let them kind of run with their own messaging touch points. But then obviously if it's a micro or nano creator, that's when we're going to be a little bit more prescriptive with making sure that they're fitting our aesthetic and brand talking points. So yeah, it's just kind of a blend across the two, and that's come over the years as we've continued to test and optimize with what works and what doesn't with different creators.
That completely makes sense. And knowing that clean beauty and the sustainability is such a big differentiation of Nécessaire as well, are you measuring that talking point or the sustainability in that point into the creative and the performance of that as well?
To be honest, we haven't. And I think we've usually considered it as a secondary touch point. I think our mentality is that we don't necessarily want to pat ourselves on the back for that element of the brand, because we feel it's something that we should be doing, and it's actually it's our responsibility as a brand to be taking that responsibility, sustainability focus. So we've incorporated it into our packaging, onto our website, and really more as a retention messaging standpoint. So we really want to lead with the product efficacy and quality, and then once we get people in on the product and product benefits, then they can feel good that, okay, this is actually made responsibly, it's clean ingredients, and it's a great retention messaging touch point from our perspective.
That's super interesting. I'm glad I asked. It's really nice how you differentiate that. And then obviously with the expansion, as you mentioned, into tons of new product categories, we have scalp, we have hair, we have more than that. How has your consumer persona evolved, if at all, especially with respect to those clean beauty consumers as well?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think we still have very much a core demo target audience. So predominantly female, 35 to 55, more affluent, college educated. They care about quality ingredients and in skincare products. So that's very much our target demo. But as we've expanded product categories, we are testing into different audiences. One of those being a male demographic. So I think that's where we've started to see success, especially with deodorant or rosemary products. Going back to awards, we've won numerous awards from Esquire and Men's Health magazines around some of these products, and so leveraging that testimonial and efficacy into the male audience, we've seen some promising signals that's an audience that we have a lot of upside with. So I think as we're seeing that and reacting to the data within our marketing, starting to lean into that and test more into these other audiences as we also expand the product categories we're in.
Very cool. And actually leads me to one of my final questions on the deep dive, which is how are you leveraging data or even first party data to optimize your media spend in this environment?
100%. So we obviously still have a very sizable DTC business. So we get a lot of great zero party, first party data from that consumer segment, and obviously all of our marketing mix across our channels that we're running. So we're using that to help inform whether that's like routine decision or marketing, what product hooks are working best to help kind of relay that across all of our touch points. But then we're also leveraging our retail partners as well. So I mentioned we launched on Amazon. We now have a massive customer base on Amazon that we're seeing. Are there different SKU mixes, or is there opportunity with certain segments or even competitor data that we can now see and kind of lean into that both from a marketing but as well as a product development cycle. So again, going back to our deodorant that we launched this year was an insight from looking at consumer search data and seeing mandelic acid deodorants were one of the top searched Amazon terms for deodorants. So that was a key insight that we shared with our product development team, and a year and a half, 2 years later, we now have that available.
There you go, and the use of data to really inform your even product strategy. Exactly. I love it. Well, Calvin, your background is quite impressive with over 10 years of experience in the CPG industry at some very notable brands. But now you're in kind of clean beauty and personal care categories. So what are some of the biggest differences and or challenges you see now coming into this space?
Yeah, I would say it's, spent majority of my career in food and beverage, so also a very highly competitive category. Beauty is obviously very highly competitive. I think what was interesting to me and what attracted me to the category outside of Nécessaire as a brand was the digital penetration for the category. So food and beverage so predominantly is purchases or sales are done in store, with maybe 20% of sales for a given food and beverage brand is online. Beauty, very different, much more evenly split. So, there's already a natural acceptance and familiarity for beauty consumers to shop online. So I think that very much attracted me. But I think one thing that has been interesting is the consistency with marketing channels. So I don't think the channels themselves are too different between the categories, but it's just the mix itself. So going back to influencer being a much heavier spend allocation for a beauty brand such as us compared to a food and beverage brand where you probably have UGC influencers in the mix, but never going to be a majority or predominant portion of your spend. So just that overall mix definitely has been the biggest change between the two.
I love it. That's makes a lot of sense. Super interesting. And for our final question here, what are you most looking forward to in 2026? It could pertain to digital media strategy, partnerships, innovation, or really anything else that comes to mind for the brand.
I mean, I obviously can't share the details, but we have a very aggressive and exciting product calendar or product roadmap for next year. So I'm excited to be launching a whole host of new products and expanding further into certain categories next year. And then I think for us, it's from a marketing perspective, it's continuing to expand our overall mix, especially on the brand awareness side. So, we've seen tremendous success and growth this year, but we need to continue to emphasize the overall brand awareness and reach. And so that's going to continue to just, transform our overall marketing mix overall, leading into these larger, experiential type events, out of home, CTV, as I mentioned. So really continuing to push on our overall marketing mix across, net new channels for us.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I believe that's all the time we had, but really appreciate your time today.
Thank
It was
you for all
great
the great
speaking with
questions.
you.
Great speaking with you as well.